Hey all, welcome back to another Star Wars lore video. In this Valentine's Day special, we decided to mock up a rough list of 5 of the happiest couples in Star Wars. We also decided to put a couple honorable mentions in this video. We really love making Star Wars content, and as we are celebrating Valentine's Day together here at Hut's Contract, we also want to give everybody else a little gift of the holiday. Enjoy. Rey and Ben Solo will not be making this list, as it was a very brief romance and one of them ended up dying. Couples like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Satine Kryze will also not be counted, as their romance was off-screen. Gotta love the two of them, though. And now we have our first true honorable mention. Our first honorable mention pick is the Lawquane family. Cut was a clone deserter on Seleucamide during the Clone Wars. Cut married Sue Lawquane, and he adopted her last name as well as her 2 Twi'lek human hybrid children, Shea and Jek Lawquane. They lived a relatively peaceful life as farmers on Seleucamide. They had encounters with Captain Rex in the 501st during the Clone Wars, but in the end of their encounter, the Republic decided to let Cut live his life peacefully with his family. Directly after the fall of the Republic and the rise of the Empire, Clone Force 99, also known as the Bad Batch, came to Seleucamide to see the Lawquanes as refuge after all clones in the Galactic Army of the Republic turned into servants of the new Galactic Empire. Cut and Sue Lawquane decided to get their family off-world with the help of the Bad Batch. After their escape, their fate is left unknown in such a cruel era of the galaxy. This being the reason we cannot put them in our top 5.
Another honorable mention is Captain Bombardner and the Duchess.
We really don't know much about Captain Bombardner and the Duchess, besides they lived a very happy life in a private domain on the world Plazar 15.
What we really know and love this couple for is the fact they are played by Jack Black and Lizzo.
They previously sided with the Separatist Alliance during the Clone Wars, and by the time of the New Republic they were living freely in paradise, spending their days playing games and feasting. Another honorable mention is Hera Syndulla and Kanan Jarrus. Hera Syndulla was the daughter of freedom fighter Cham Syndulla, and during the time of the Galactic Empire, she met Kanan Jarrus, also known as Caleb Dune, who was a Jedi survivor of the Jedi Purge. The two formed a romance in a rebel cell that caused lots of damage to the Empire. Kanan eventually met his demise on Lothal, saving Hera. Hera later gave birth to Kanan and her son, Jacen Syndulla. I would love to put this couple higher on the board, but there's a lot of happier couples in Star Wars that don't end in tragedy and loss of a father. Our final honorable mention is Anakin Skywalker and Padme Amidala. Anakin and Padme are pretty self-explanatory, and like Kanan and Hera, they ended in tragedy, only a lot worse. We all know that Anakin's visions of Padme's death brought Anakin to the dark side, and he became Darth Vader and massacred the entire Jedi Order. Padme eventually died in a depression-like state while giving birth to Luke and Leia, and Darth Vader ruled the galaxy for 23 years, bringing harm and chaos in the galaxy far, far away. Now, officially on our list, we have to start off with Han Solo and Leia Organa. Han and Leia have got to be the most popular Star Wars couple of all time. Their relationship in the Legends continuity went fairly good, only having problems with their children. They do end up living a pretty decently, happily ever after life. In Star Wars canon, they also had a very happy relationship. They spent lots of time apart, but when they were together, they were very deeply in love. They only had one child in canon, this being Ben Solo. Ben fell to the dark side after Luke Skywalker sensed darkness in him. Ben became the leader of the Knights of Ren and became a warlord of the First Order. In the sequel trilogy, Han and Leia both met their demise. Han was stabbed by his son after trying to redeem him. Sometime later, while Rey and Ben dueled on Kef Bir, Leia called out to Ben in the Force, sending him on a path of redemption. This used all of Leia's remaining strength, and she passed away, becoming one with the Force. Ben Solo met his end after confronting the resurrected Emperor Palpatine, using all of his remaining Force essence to revive Rey. In the end, Han and Leia's sacrifices ended up redeeming their son, and they all became one with the Force and also saved the galaxy. So regardless if you look at canon or legends, they both use their romance to save the galaxy and do what's best for others in the galaxy far, far away. In the end, they both loved each other, and that's all that counts. Our fourth pick for the happiest couple in Star Wars is Chewbacca and Malla. Chewbacca's lived a very long life, and a lot of people forget he had a family on Kashyyyk. Chewbacca was married to a Wookiee named Malla Tobuk, and her name meant the singer in Shiruk. The Empire enslaved Malla Tobuk along with all the other Wookiees. The Empire also enslaved their son, Lumpawaru. After the destruction of the second Death Star, Chewbacca returned to Kashyyyk to liberate all the Wookiees, including his family. Even though that this happy Wookiee family was shown off screen most of the time, they were featured prominently in non-canon and Legends material, mostly featuring the Life Day specials. Chewbacca's family was more known for the original holiday special that came out. So yeah, Chewbacca had a very lovely family, and he was deeply in love with Malla. Even though he was off on missions with Han Solo, he would always return to Kashyyyk to see his family. Now on to our third pick, it's Shara Bey and Kes Dameron. I've been wanting to make a video on Shara Bey and Kes Dameron for a while now because I recently finished reading the Shattered Empire comic. The comic really sets up the resistant hero Poe Dameron's parents. Kes Dameron was a rebel Pathfinder sergeant who worked closely with Han Solo, hunting down Imperial remnants on planets like Endor after the second Death Star's destruction. Shara Bey was a rebel A-Wing pilot who worked closely with Luke Skywalker and Leia Organa. Shara Bey got the last remaining saplings of the ancient Jedi tree that was in the Jedi Temple with the help of Luke Skywalker. Shara Bey also worked with Leia Organa Solo to save Naboo from the Empire during Operation Cinder, which was an attempt to destroy Naboo after the Emperor's death. The two rarely got to see each other during the Galactic Civil War and all up to the time of the Battle of Jakku. It was then that they settled on Yavin 4, planting one of the ancient Jedi tree saplings and raising Poe Dameron. We all know what is to come for Poe, and his parents were proud of the Resistance leader he became. They lived happily even during the First Order's reign over the galaxy. Our second to last choice is Bail and Breha Organa. Bail and Breha were almost the perfect example of a Star Wars couple. They lived as a royal family on Alderaan and took Leia Organa as their adoptive child, as they claimed to have always wanted a daughter. They raised Leia to be a strong, smart leader. Breha and Bail showed the best father and mother skills by far in the Star Wars universe. They did all these things for their daughter while also being leaders of Alderaan, being part of the Republic and the Imperial Senate, and while also secretly being part of the Rebel Alliance. Even though Alderaan, along with Bail and Breha, were blown up by the first Death Star, they died quickly together, not dying in agony or despair. What they had done before their deaths set up the rebels to defeat the Empire and find peace in the galaxy again. Their daughter, Leia, also grew up to be a fine leader for their cause, carrying on their legacy. And on to our final pick. This is a little bit for jokes and a little bit serious, but it's Frogman and Frog Lady. We are only given 2 episodes of this couple, but their whole existence in the show is to show their love and the offspring they created. Frog Lady traveled across the galaxy with Din Djarin to Trask to have her eggs fertilized by Frogman, her husband. They were a part of the Quirm Ribbit species and had a very similar appearance to one another. Their offspring were eventually born, and it is assumed that it was a repeated cycle of Frog Lady meets Frogman.
We hope you enjoyed our Valentine's Day special video.
This video was pretty quickly put together, but we wanted to give all Star Wars fans something for the holiday.
We would like to expand our channel, but we can only do it with your help. Like and subscribe for more and be part of the Hutt's contract.
And may the Force be with you always.